This video is going to be talking about the third page of the Chapter 5 review number 2, starting at number 22. Okay, so this says the linear function to the right shows the relationship between the number of hours that a candle burns and the height of the candle. Okay, so the first part says identify and interpret the slope. So looking at this graph here, we're going to have to identify the slope. And so to do that, I'm going to pick 2 points. And I'm just going to pick this point here and maybe this point here. So I'm going to count my rise over run. So to go from this point to this point, I go down 1, 2, 3 over 1, 2, 3. So I went down 3 over 3, which is really just -1. So the slope is -1. And now it also says to interpret this. So let's think about this. We went down 3 centimeters per hour, okay? So we went down 3 centimeters and then we went over 3 hours. So this really means that it's the candle is burning 1 centimeter per hour. Now notice how I didn't write -1 here for centimeter. That's what the word burning covers. That word burning covers that negative sign, meaning that the candle is decreasing in height every hour. Okay, the second question there says identify and interpret the y-intercept. Well, the y-intercept is just here on the y-axis. So that is 0, 12. And interpret it. So remember, y-intercept is also referred to as the starting point. So if you just remember, y-intercept is your starting point. That means the candle was 12 centimeters tall, I guess, before it was lit. Okay, so the candle started at 12 centimeters tall, or it was 12 centimeters tall before it was lit. Then it says solve for the x-intercept and interpret the x-intercept. So as you look at this graph, you notice we can't tell exactly what the x-intercept is here because it doesn't touch. It's going to go way down over here somewhere. So we're going to have to figure that out. So how we're going to figure that out is, first of all, let's write the equation of this line. I know the slope and I know the y-intercept. Okay, so the equation of that line is -1x plus 12. Okay, the slope is -1, the y-intercept is 12. Now I can find the x-intercept. Remember, to find an x-intercept, that is when y is equal to 0. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to substitute in 0 for y. So 0 is equal to -1x plus 12. I'm solving for x, so I subtract 12 from both sides. -12 is equal to -1x. I divide both sides by -1, so x is equal to 12. So the x-intercept, y equals 0, x equals 12. The x-intercept is 12, 0. And then it says interpret. So what this means is, well, let's talk about what our ordered pair means, okay? The x-axis is this axis. This is the y-axis. So we're talking hours and centimeters, or height, okay? So our ordered pair is hours, centimeters. So this is 12 hours, 0 centimeters. So this means after 12 hours, the candle will be 0 centimeters or all burnt out, or however you want to say that. After 12 hours, the candle will be 0 centimeters. It'll be all burnt out. It'll be completely gone. However you want to phrase that. Okay. The next one says Maddie is trying to sell cookies to raise money for her camping trip. She is selling oatmeal raisin cookies for $3.50 a package and sugar cookies for $4 a package. She made a total of $140 on her cookie sales. So the first part here says write an equation in standard form representing this situation. X will be oatmeal raisin and Y will be sugar. So if X is oatmeal and Y is sugar. Okay. So again, we want to write it in standard form. So X is our oatmeal raisin, and our oatmeal raisin are $3.50 per package. So it's $3.50 per package of oatmeal cookies plus $4 per pack of sugar cookies is equal to the total amount of money she made, which was $140. So it's $3.50 per oatmeal plus $4 per sugar, and that equals a total amount of money that she made. So that's our equation in standard form for this situation. It says identify and interpret the x-intercept. Okay, so x-intercept is when y is 0. So I'm going to substitute in 0 for y. So I have 350x plus 4 times 0 is equal to 140. That really is just 350x is equal to 140. I divide both sides by 3.5. And I get that x is equal to 40. When y was 0 and x was 40, that ordered pair is 40, 0. And like I said at the beginning, this is why I like to write this. It reminds me it's oatmeal, sugar. Oatmeal being x, sugar being y. So this means it is 40 oatmeal and 0 sugar. So she could sell 40 oatmeal and 0 sugar to make $140. Okay, so that's saying, the x-intercept is saying that if she didn't want to sell any sugar, or if just no one bought any sugar cookies, she could sell, only need to sell 40 oatmeal raisin to make that $140. The y-intercept is the opposite of that. So that is when x is equal to 0. So I'll plug in 0 for x. So I have $3.50 times 0 plus 4y is equal to 140. That's really just 4y is equal to 140. I divide both sides by 4. So y is equal to 35. When x was 0 and y was 35, that ordered pair is 0, 35. Okay, now again, I'm looking back at my key here. This is oatmeal, sugar, so this means 0 oatmeal, 35 sugar. So she could sell 0 oatmeal, 0 oatmeal, and 35 sugar cookies to make $140. Okay, so again, it's not necessarily the case that she would only sell one or the other, but that's what the x and the y-intercepts tell you. They tell you if she only sold oatmeal, she would need to sell this many. If she only sold sugar, she would need to sell this many. Okay, the last problem here, we're given a table, and it tells us to write the equation of a line in slope-intercept form. Okay, so what are we given? That's what we need to look at. Well, we're given a table, and a table is really just a set or a list of ordered pairs. So we're starting with a couple of ordered pairs here. So let's remind ourselves. If we start with ordered pairs, the first thing we need to do is find the slope. After we find the slope, we'll use that slope that we just found and one of the points to do point-slope form. After we find point-slope form, we can distribute and solve for y to put it into y equals mx plus b. So that's what we're going to be doing now. We're going to find the slope, we're going to put it in point-slope, and then we're going to distribute and solve for y. So first thing I need to do is find slope. So I'm going to pick any two of these points I want. I'm just going to pick the first two here, and I'm going to use those 2 points to find the slope. Okay, so I'm just going to say that these 2 points here are 2, 139 and 5, 265. So those are my 2 points, and I'm going to find the slope. So I'm going to have 265 minus 139 over 5 minus 2. Okay, well, 265 minus 139 is 126, and 5 minus 2 is 3. 126 divided by 3 is 42. So my slope is 42. Now that I know the slope, and I know points, I know 4 points to be exact, I can pick one of these points and this slope, and I can write point slope. So I'm just going to use this first point here. I'm going to use that first point and this slope. So y minus 139 is equal to 42 times x minus 2. So again, I took that first point and this slope and I put it in point slope form. Now that I'm in point slope form, I'm going to distribute and solve for y. So I'm going to distribute y minus 139 is equal to 42x minus 84. And then I'm going to add 139 to both sides, okay? So y is equal to 42x plus 55. Okay, so that's the equation I have there. 42x plus 55. So my slope was 42. I used that slope in one of the points, wrote point slope, and then I found the y-intercept to be 55. Now I can answer these questions. It says, how many pages will we read after 7 hours? Okay, well, 7 hours. We just need to figure out where we're going to plug in 7. Are we going to plug it in for x or for y? Let's look back at the table. A table is always in the form x, the x column, and then the y column. So hours is here. So hours is talking about x. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug in 7 for x. So y is equal to 42 times 7 plus 55. And if you multiply that together and then add the 55, you get 349 pages, because it says how many pages. It would be 349 pages. The next one says, how long will it take to read 832 pages? So here we're talking pages, which is y. So we're going to plug in 832 for y in this problem. So 832 is equal to 42x plus 55. So I take that original equation and I plug in 832 for y. I'm going to solve for x by subtracting 55 from both sides. I get 777 is equal to 42x. I divide both sides by 42. And x is equal to 18.5 hours, because it says how long will it take, and our measurement of time here is hours.